Mufti, log back into Zoom. Something happened.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So we're talking about being realistic. And unfortunately, the sad reality about Ramadan is that there are many people who they mystify and romanticize Ramadan too much. Too much. And they lose touch with reality when it comes to Ramadan. And they think that Ramadan is some type of magic wand in which everything is just going to vanish and go away, where everything is just going to appear and behold out of a rabbit's head. That's not the month of Ramadan. Rather, the month of Ramadan in itself is a practical month. It's meant to be practical. And it's meant for us to take physical, practical steps. So you have to realize that with regards to your children, every problem is not going to be fixed in the month. Every problem is not going to be fixed. And there's some problems it's going to be a constant, perpetual struggle.
Mufti, go ahead and turn your microphone on Zoom.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, I'm sorry. Better?
Yes.
All right, tell you. So the point is that Ramadan is a special month, for sure. Full of blessings, barakats, rahmats. But it doesn't mean we lose touch with reality in this month. Level number 3 are those who have good relationships with their children and their stepchildren, good relationships. But inshallah, this Ramadan, I want to take my relationship with my son and my stepdaughter to the next level. I want to try to be a better parent, a better step parent, a better role model, a better father in the household. And I want to give everything that I possibly can with my son, because I don't know if I'm going to live to see another Ramadan. As the Prophet ﷺ, he told the Sahaba, he said, "Khudu anni manasikakum." See me, look at me, mimic me, and learn from me. فَإِنِّي لَا أَدْرِي لَعَلِّي لَا أَلْقَاكُمْ بَعْدَ حَجَّتِهِ هَذِهِ. He says, because I'm unsure if I'll see you on the next Hajj. I'm unsure. So there is no guarantee on how long a person is going to be around with regards to his children. So try your best, inshallah ta'ala, to make a realistic resolution. I'm doing things well with my son. We have a good relationship. And this Ramadan, we're going to have a competition with regards to the Quran. This Ramadan, we're going to have a competition, see who can finish the whole entire Mus'haf. See who can do this, see who can do that. Try your best to take it to the next level. Make a challenge for yourself. Make things fun. And put yourself in your son's shoes. What excites you? What makes you happy?
Turn your volume down.
On Instagram?
Yeah, on your computer.
All right, is it better? It's better now? Okay, Tayyib. So the point is that if you started Ramadan and you left Ramadan with one realistic goal that you achieved with regards to the third category, it wouldn't be a wasted Ramadan. It wouldn't be a wasted Ramadan, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. It still will be good if that's what a person did. Okay? The sound is good now or not? Okay, tayyib, khair inshallah. So what's important is the speech that I want to give to myself, because I'm not free from this. All right, Shaitan whispers to each and every one of us. And I'm a man and a human being with flaws and imperfections, just like the rest of you are. Okay, as we all know as a reality, is that we have different dysfunctions, different problems. We have different errors with our relationships. And I think that the level of consciousness and awareness in 2021 is unparalleled. Back in the day, perhaps things were just ignored. Back in the day, people didn't know it was a problem. They didn't know it was an ism. They didn't know it was classified as a major dysfunction. People that had this mental illness or this problem, they didn't classify it as ADHD or this issue. It was just, oh, he's a little crazy. That's it. So the level of awareness that we have in 2021 is unparalleled. And I think it's upon the believer to exploit this level of awareness. I think it's upon us to do that. All right. As the narration states, in al-hikmata dalatul mu'min, that wisdom is the lost animal, or the lost possession of the believer. Wherever he finds it, he retrieves it. This is mine. This is my lost possession, and I'm supposed to take it back. So these different classifications, these different clinical studies, the Muslims, we are to respect them and to accept them before the non-Muslims. So therefore, we have awareness like no other time. And I think that we should all look at our households and look at which of the three levels we fall under. Do I have a relationship with my son or my stepson? If I do have a relationship with my stepson or my son, my stepdaughter or my daughter, what level is it upon? And how can how can I make it better? What's practical? How can I amplify it? How can I make it more solid? How can I fix those cracks and those leaks in my system with regards to my family dynamic? And of course, Allah tells us, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. Seek Allah's help through patience and prayer. Making dua for your kids and your sujood. How many of us really honestly do that? On a realistic, like being real. Are we making dua for our kids to be righteous in our sujood? For our kids' behavioral problems to be fixed? Are we making dua for them, or are we just reprimanding them verbally? Okay. Are we asking Allah to make us better fathers, better stepfathers, better mothers, better stepmothers? Or we're just giving lip service and singing? And Allah tells us patience is that your job is to plant the seed. Okay. Is it going to grow? When is it going to grow? Is it going to reach a full bloom or blossom? Maybe, maybe not. That's not your job. Teach your son, teach your daughter, make a good example for your stepchildren. And even if you think they're not listening to you, or you think they're not paying attention to you, you never know, they may be doing it. They may be doing it. All right. So wasta'inu bis-sabri was-salah is seek Allah's help, seek help through patience and with prayer. With regards to your kids, if you're on the third level, the second level, or the first level, bronze medal, silver medal, or gold medal, you figure it out, inshallah ta'ala, and make the month of Ramadan not the end, but the beginning of a new life with your kids, with your stepchildren, through the spirituality, through the religious practicing, fasting, reading Quran, eating suhoor, eating iftar, and most importantly, teaching your children the greatest lessons of Ramadan. And from the greatest lessons of Ramadan is that Allah is watching us. From the greatest lessons of Ramadan is self-sacrifice. You're thirsty, you're hungry, you have a headache. Why can't you eat food? Because Allah is greater. Teaching your children these lessons of Ramadan, having sympathy for poor people, for hungry people. These are the most important lessons of the month of Ramadan, and nothing good comes without sacrifice. And that whenever, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, whatever you do and you sacrifice for, the rewards are always sweeter. And we all know that when you break your fast and you eat dates, those dates taste like ribeye steak. You teach your children this. That's a fact, right or wrong? That water, the coffee, you appreciate it tastes so good because you sacrificed. And that's the same with regards to having a baby before marriage. That's the same with regards to buying yourself expensive sneakers when you work for it, versus selling drugs or stealing or begging for money. When you earn, when you sacrifice, when you put in the work yourself, the fruit tastes sweeter. So these are lessons that we need to teach our children.
So Mufti,
and Allah knows best.
Let me just kind of recap for some. I know the people who joined on Instagram and kind of joined a little late. So I just want to kind of recap for everybody some of the points that you mentioned. You said that we're talking about our relationship with our children, and the title of the conference is Relationship Goals. Different relationships that we have in our lives that we are trying to improve in those relationships. So your talk was centered around our relationship with our children. So you begin by talking about, aside from your introduction, you talked about relationships with our children fall into maybe one of three categories. The first category was it's just a poor relationship with your children. The second category was the relationship with your children that is a great relationship. And then there is the third category, which is the relationship that is not so great and it needs some improvement. Correct?
And no doubt.
All right, and then you worked your way through talking about each and every relationship, that if the relationship is great, then there's consistency. You want to be consistent with that. All right. Just like our rewards with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is based on continuity, not about how great the deed is. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, Ayu a'malin ahabbu ila Allah, which deeds are most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, adwamuha wa in qalla. The deeds that are done with continuity, that are done continuously. And children, they need consistency. Just like we need consistency in our marriages, our children need consistency in their relationship with their children, with their parents. Not just, oh, in Ramadan, we're going to get up, we're going to go to Taraweeh, we're going to pray Salatul Fajr, we're going to, enhance our relationship in Ramadan. But then soon as Ramadan is over with, it's back to being an angry, mean, parent who doesn't really want anything to do with his or her children. But consistency. Secondly, if the relationship is not as good, then you want to improve in that relationship by finding the things that are important to the child. And you mentioned, if the child loves to play video games, then, maybe take some time out and play a video game with the child. If the child likes to go out and play football, go outside and play with the child. Find things that the child likes to do and just try to find your niche with the child. And this is especially true with teenage children. Teenage children are going through a lot. There's a lot of changes. They're going from being prepubescent to being pubescent to going into being teenagers. And, as a teacher, I can say that sixth graders are literally the roughest children to deal with. Why? Because the sixth grader, they're transitioning. They're going from being fifth graders to now being sixth graders, preteens. They're 11 years old, going on 12. That's a huge transition, And sometimes children are kind of written off as just maladaptive, disrespectful, but we don't understand the development that they are going through, that process that they are experiencing. And these are some of the same children that we live with, And you talked about the third category, which is the relationship that is pretty poor, pretty poor relationship. And how did you say that a parent can improve? If your relationship with your child is a poor relationship, there's a lack of communication, there's resentment on behalf of the child, how does a parent go in and begin to repair that relationship?
First and foremost is that if you've done wrong to them or if you have your shortcomings, tell them you're sorry.
Right.
I love you. I care about you. You know that. I'm not the best. I'm a little rough around the edges. I didn't mean to that time, so on and so forth. And you never know the power of forgiveness. You're the parent. We know you're the boss. We know you're the don of the household. You're in charge. We know this. You're the man of the house. You have the money. You have this. You don't have to have that ego. But think how powerful it is for a leader to ask forgiveness from his subjects. It's impactful.
Right.
So sometimes humble yourself for that. Humble yourself, as a starting point, And like I said, we also said neutral ground. You got a problem with your son with regards to prayer and it's hard to talk to him. All right, you may not have to talk about the prayer immediately. Find some neutral ground and then get the momentum. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala.
Okay. So start with, asking for forgiveness, going to the child and saying, hey, listen, if I ever wronged you, I'm a human, I made some mistakes. I'm asking you for your forgiveness.
No question.
These were things that happened even between the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'in. When Abu Bakr, Umar upset Abu Bakr about something and he went to ask for forgiveness, and he refused to forgive him. And then he went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Abu Bakr went to him to ask for forgiveness, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he reproached Umar, like, my companion came to you asking you for forgiveness and you refused to forgive him. Like, this is something that, is very important. We raise our hands up and we ask Allah to forgive us, but we won't go to our children and ask them to forgive us. We want forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we refuse to give forgiveness to our children.
Holding grudges.
Right.
And that's also very important, Ramadan.
Yeah.
The grudges, Laylatul Qadr, okay? the concept of, you know, shahna in the hearts. And the sad reality, you may have a grudge with one of your children, or they have a grudge against you, and you're in the same household.
Right. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left, inshallah. We want to utilize the time for those on Zoom. If you guys have any questions that you would like to ask Shaykh Mufti Muneer, if you would like to ask him any questions regarding the topic, this is your opportunity to do so now. You can either unmute your microphone and go ahead and ask your question, or you can type your question in the chat. Totally up to you. Anyone have any questions on Zoom? Any questions? This is a huge topic, man. This is a great topic.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
The lady with all the questions, right? Well, I have 4 children, and I have 2 boys and 2 girls. And it's very hard for me to spend alone time with each one of them and, you know, give each one of them what they need, because I have to handle everything. So I'm wondering, what is something that I can do with all of them? They range from ages 6 to 14, that I can do with all of them to, you know, establish another level of closeness between us during the month of Ramadan.
Clear. I would say that you have a whole entire month. If you have 4 children, give one of the 4 children their own day. I'm going to take you out. There are days in which we all go out, we all eat iftar, we all do this, but today I'm taking just you out. Me and you were going out for dinner. And then me and you were going out to the toy store. And me and you were going out, we're going to buy you a new thing for your console, your game, whatever, as long as it's a permissible game, of course. What heck of that? So you have a blend, a mixture. There's time in which we will all spend together as a family. And then there's time in which, within that time, you pinpoint, you focus on something specific. And we have this in the Sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ spoke to the Sahaba on so many occasions, collectively. He sat with them collectively. He admonished them collectively, taught them collectively. And how many hadiths do we find? Just the Prophet and Abu Bakr, the Prophet and Umar, the Prophet and Jabir, the young companions, the Prophet and Aisha, the Prophet and Abu Salama. Aisha narrates things that no one else narrates. I saw it when the Prophet came in. Every time after Asr, he made these extra rakat. Whack of that. So you have to realize it's like a coach of a team. The coach loves all of his players. He deals with all of his players, but there's no doubt the coach. I'm gonna give you a real life example. When I used to play baseball, all right? I was in high school. I used to play second base as my main position, a little bit of shortstop, and sometimes I played third base. But I was best at a second baseman, right? I was good with the double play. For those who know about baseball. And people talk about the shortstop is one of the hardest positions to play, for sure. You got to have really good, quick reflexes. You have a very strong arm. But don't underestimate the second baseman when it comes to the double play. So what's the point I'm trying to get to, sister? Is that when we warmed up before the game would start, people would stretch, people would run, people would throw the ball, it would get loose. There was a time in which the pitcher and the catcher would walk off, and it would just be them two. No other player would be with them, the pitcher and the catcher. So does the pitcher need a relationship with the first baseman? Of course he does. The second baseman, the shortstop, the third baseman, the center fielder, left fielder, right fielder, of course. And the catcher as well is going to throw and catch to those different bases. But the relationship between the pitcher and the catcher right now is intimate, nobody else. So therefore, there are times in which the coach pulls one player to the side. There are times in which the coach goes out to dinner with just the offensive lineman. I need to talk with these guys specifically. I need to address them specifically. They feel like they don't get enough attention. Why can that? So there's time in which is coach with all the players, all your children. And then in the night time, you make a special activity, a special day, a special dinner, a special thing in which is only one child or two children. Let's say you have boys and girls. You take this is the girls' night out. That's just for the boys, nothing personal. The girls, you got an activity in the household. You can buy this, you can rent this, but now it's just the boys going out. Why can that? Inshallah, you manage with the balance of it. That's what I would say.
Jazakallah khair, thank you.
Well, yeah, hopefully it makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. It does. Thank you.
Further, Shaykh.
Coach as a team, and then they also find time to coach individually.
No question.
And I remember translating part of the biography of Sheikh bin Baz, rahimahullah ta'ala. And Sheikh bin Baz, he had multiple wives, and he had a lot of children, and he had a lot of daughters as well, right? And what he used to do was he would give his daughters a Thursday, and he would give his sons a Tuesday or Wednesday, and he would spend time with each of them. So the day that it was for his daughters, he would just take them out, just them, or they would sit at home, drink tea, eat, things like that. And so when you mentioned that, that was the first thing that came to my mind. I remember reading his biography, translating some of his biography, and noticing that that was something that he did with his children. Obviously, as somebody who has a lot of children myself, you oftentimes find it very difficult to find time to be with them individually, but you have to make that time. Okay, any other questions? Anybody else have any questions that they would like to ask Mufti Muneer
Assalamu alaikum.
related to the topic? 5 minutes left.
Yes, I'm in a I have.
Guys on Zoom, does anybody have any more questions?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. I have 6 bonus children with my husband, and I have boys and girls, 3 girls and 3 boys. How do you, all of them have different personalities. How do you not completely shut down when I find myself always lowering my wing as far as like when they say things that are hurtful or they try to undermine you? And I'm finding myself now after 10 years, we have 1 left in the home, my baby girl, but I'm finding myself now that my feelings, because I'm so sensitive, my feelings are getting hurt so much to the point I'm shutting down completely. And it's getting harder. I'm forgiving, but it's like, I feel like I'm not letting them back in my personal space. So I'm trying to keep a balance here. And I talk to my husband about it sometimes, but then I don't like to kind of mess the relationship up because he will get on them. But then I just don't want to start the confusion. But how do I protect myself? Because now I'm finding myself like just completely shutting down. Like I
Clear.
just sometimes don't want to be bothered.
Clear, understood. Well, my best advice I would give to you is that if you're that sensitive, you have to work on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Being a person having no feelings is bad. And a person having too many feelings, being too prickly and touchy, the smallest, tiniest prick, that's also bad.
That's
so
me.
You have to make jihad the nafs. Now, I'm not advising you to try to change yourself. Changing yourself 100% how Allah made you. I'm telling you how to manage yourself better. Okay, you have to develop that ability, and that starts with asking Allah for help. And that's a flaw. That's nux. So the hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ tells us to, oh Allah, as you have made my creation perfect, make my character perfect. Okay, so you have to work on yourself. And of course, your children and other people, they have to be mindful of what they say, not to injure someone, not to barb someone. But if I'm overly sensitive, I can't point the finger at nobody until I point the finger at myself. And I have to realize it's not them. This little small joke, 100 people would have laughed and took it no problem. And I'm the only one who took it to the heart. You trying to play me? You trying to disrespect me?
Right.
No, the problem is you, Mufti.
Right.
So work on it gradually. Ask Allah to make it easy for you. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal to assist, to help you in that. And inshallah, you also got to teach your children that they need to know how to talk with you. is that it's nothing wrong with what they said, but how you say it. And you have to be mindful of people's feelings.
Right.
That's the best advice I can give you in that situation at the little bit of time that we have.
Okay, shukran.
Have fun. May Allah bless you.
Shukran. Right.
Yeah, I saw another question that came up, and it was, how do you co-parent with somebody who apostated from Islam?
Oh man, that's rough. That's rough. That's difficult. I mean, I say that it's difficult co-parenting with people that are Muslims. You have different types of Muslims, right? That's reality. We all know it's reality. Or we may be of the same orientation, but we just have different standards.
Right.
Halal meat, non-halal meat. What color can our kids, what can our daughters wear? What type of overgarments? It's reality. You find this is normal. I find this as an abomination. You say it's okay for them to eat this. I say, no, it's haram for them to eat this. I say we can go pray this masjid. I want my children around those people. That's a problem. So you need sabr. So it's difficult with a Muslim, let alone someone who is outside of Islam. So I would try my best to make sure that I control my nuts. Your anger, your ego. You don't got to talk about religion. Don't impose upon that parent when it comes to their time. But the things need to be agreed upon. Look, we're not having an argument, me and you, about being a Muslim. But my kids are such and such. And I won't say this to the kids about you. You got to establish neutrality first. Basic respect first. We're not going to say nothing against each other. I'm not going to call you a kafir, murtad, mushrik, and you're not going to call me a religious, extremist, fundamentalist, dumb, stupid Muslim. So we're not going to call each other names. We're not going to speak bad about each other in front of our children. And we're going to have some basic mutual respect. And then you start working on it from there. But that's a fitna. That's a fitna. You got to be patient upon that no matter what. That's you got to have sabr upon that one. And may Allah make it easy for us.
Okay, so in ending, if you would, because this is a fundraiser, if you could give a few words to brothers and sisters about
Man, listen,
helping
Akhi,
out Masjid
get
al-Rawda.
that money up. That's the bottom line. The top and the bottom line is get that money up. All right, money is a reality. We all need money. We don't worship money. We don't work for money. We make the money work for us, but it's needed. Without money, I wouldn't be on this phone. I wouldn't have these AirPods. I wouldn't have an iPad. Without money, I wouldn't be. It's reality. Got to get that money up. Nothing good comes cheap, and anything cheap isn't good. So we all know about fundraisers. We got to get that money up. That's the bottom line. There's no technical, high-powered English words. You can get that money up. That's the bottom line. Put that money down. Yeah, support the cause of Allah. Inshallah, it's a noble cause, something for our own souls, for our own children, for the future. We complain about different masjids, different organizations, people exploiting our communities. We complain about this one and that one. They're destroying. So what we going to do about it? We're going to talk. We're going to yap. Blah, 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 change, reconstruction. I was destroyed through this. This movement did this to me. This messed up our communities. This sheikh did this. Okay, what are we doing about it? And one thing is sad reality about different communities, and I'm talking about no specific community or races, but they get that money up. Let me tell you something, Abu Zubair, in New York, you see a masjid full of cab drivers from West Africa. They get that money up. They get that money up, Akhi. It ain't everything corporate this doctor, cab drivers. And they establishing their own masjid because they don't want to be around Black Americans, or they want to be around Arabs, or they just want their own masjid, whatever the reason is. You get the point? I ain't saying nothing derogatory against nobody. You get the point I'm trying to make. Is that whatever the reason is for them to establish their own West African masjid, they get that money up. We talk about people, he's racist, he's extreme, this sheikh is this. Oh, well, you got your hands clutched, you got your wallet clutched. Swipe, send that money, that cash app. Bottom line. Well, I ain't got nothing else to say, man.
In so many words.
You said, and plus you have an expensive tea habit to pay for, Amir the Prince. No doubt about that. That's a fact. We gotta support my tea habit. That's a fact.
Gotta support your tea habit. Well,
okay, inshallah.
We appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge, man, and your time, man. Much appreciated as always, man.
Always a pleasure.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide your steps, man, and allow us to continue to benefit from you, man. While you
Ameen. Ameen. It's always a pleasure,
Allah
Elizabeth.
Ta'ala
Always.
make dua for us, man. It looks like you traveling. Make dua for us, man,
No
while
doubt.
you're on the road. And
Definitely.
inshallah, we will be in touch, man.
Ameen. Ameen. My salams to everybody out there, to all the disciples worldwide, and tell Amir the Prince to stop fronting. Stop fronting, Amir. You know who I'm talking about. Stop fronting, Akhi. Yalla, may Allah make the
all
program
your
a success.
disciples and disciplettes out there.
That's right. That's right. That's right. May Allah make the fundraiser be a means of success and a benefit, and inshallah that everything that you put in will come into reality. Bi'idhnillah ta'ala.
Bi'idhnillah. Bi'idhnillah. Jazakallah khairan.
Mayyakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi
Wa alaikum
wa
salam.
barakatuh.
Okay, so for all of you guys here, sorry for the technical difficulties. We have Abu Usama al-Dhahabi who's going to be coming on in about 10 minutes, inshallah. So I'm going to log off and then we'll log back on in about 10, 15 minutes, inshallah. And we will have Abu Usama al-Dhahabi bi'idhnillah. Jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathira. Please, brothers and sisters, don't forget to donate. Our Cash App is the Cash App sign, Roll the Masjid. Cash App sign, Roll the Masjid. No, I can't ask him your question, but what you can do is you can email him or you can reach out to him on Instagram, bi'idhnillah, and I'm sure that he will be more than glad to answer your question, inshallah. All right. So the Cash App is Roll the Masjid, RAWDAH. We set a goal for $25,000 for the first 2 days. Alhamdulillah, between yesterday and today, we are roughly around $10,000. We are roughly around $10,000. So alhamdulillah, we've achieved almost half of our goal. And by the end of tonight, inshallah, if we could at least get half of that, we can at least get to $15,000, that would be much appreciated. If you need Zelle, then please email me personally. Email me, imamshadidmuhammad@gmail.com, and I will give you the Zelle information, inshallah. If you need Zelle, please email me at imamshadidmuhammad@gmail.com. And I will give you the Zelle information. I'm not going to give the Zelle information over the phone or over on a public platform. But we do have PayPal and we do have Cash App. All right. The PayPal is Mardiya Community, MARDIYAH Community @gmail.com. That is our PayPal. So alhamdulillah, it's been a great opportunity to, alhamdulillah, between yesterday and today, we've had some esteemed guests come on and share some information. We had Shaykh Imam Tariq Rashid. We had Shaykh Dr. Hassan Akbar, who gave a very high-powered lecture yesterday. If you guys missed it, you can go on to our Facebook page and you can see the lecture. Inshallah, everything will be uploaded to YouTube in a day or so, inshallah. And we had Shaykh Mufti Muneer. For those of you who missed the first part of that, inshallah, once we download everything, we will upload it to YouTube so that way you can catch the whole interview. All right. So in about 10 minutes, we have Abu Usama al-Dhahabi who will come on and speak about our relationship with Islam. What should our relationship with Islam look like in 2021 going into Ramadan this year? Inshallah, that will be in 10 minutes. So you guys can log back on, inshallah, in 10 minutes, and we will have Shaykh Abu Usama. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.